Okay, everybody, man talk on Thursday.
Right.
All about touching your feminine side. Wait for Neville. Being a woman, late as usual.
Yeah, you're asking for trouble there, kid. You really are.
He's putting on his high heels and his high heels and his lipstick. Getting this all sorted out. Okay. Any thoughts on this topic today, Lennox? What does masculinity mean? What does feminine mean? And don't cheat.
Don't cheat.
Yeah,
No, I think we, I think that if you're looking at definition of what a man is, I think there are only two genders that there's only ever been two genders. We're male and female, XY chromosome and YY or whatever it is. I mean, all the sort of all the fluids that have been sort of going around. I don't really sort of buy into that. You can have an opinion as to whether you want to be fluid or not, but that's all it is an opinion. The research shows that there's only ever two.
Okay, but let's talk about genetically, from whether you're a believer in God.
No, nothing to do with God. It is absolutely nothing at all to do with God. I mean, the research shows that there's only ever been two types of people, male and female.
Yeah, I believe that. I understand.
So it's nothing to do whether you believe in God or not. It has nothing to do with this debate. The research shows, the science shows that there are only two types of people.
Okay, that's right. And
those are the XY chromosomes, and those are the YY chromosomes. Your belief system has nothing at all to do with it.
That's right. Don't you think... what I'm saying, though, is that from a God perspective, Adam and Eve I'm talking about, there's only two genders, man and woman. If you're a Darwinist, there's a male and female. Okay, so all this transgender stuff, I can't believe in, to be honest. I just can't.
But the problem is, if you look at sort of Darwin, I mean, sort of the biblical definition of creation is that we're both created for different functions. But Darwin, what does he believe? If you look from however many millions of years that we developed out of the primeval swamp, you still have. If you argue evolution, then we move along. I don't think Darwin talks about he doesn't talk about gender. I suppose what he talks about is evolution. We evolve as in sort of, I think his is a racist argument. So his is more to do with sort of the development of the white race over the black, if you look at what he says. So it's the development of superior white people to the inferior black. But he doesn't really sort of talk about people diversifying into the fluids. We've come from the fluids, but we haven't gone back.
Yeah, metaphorically speaking, yeah. But the thing is that we're talking about masculine. Basically, we're talking about male and female. We know those are the only things that really exist at the end of the day, if we're honest with ourselves. Okay, but the thing is that what makes a man masculine, what makes a woman feminine. That's what we need to look at tonight. That's what we're talking about tonight.
But some of the writings on it go on about, for example, what we believe, especially now, that the difference between men and women is only a social construct. So the way that men behave and women behave is generated by society, putting pressure on them to behave in a certain way for courtship rituals or for whatever reason. Nothing to do with biology or genetics or anything, which is foreign to me, because when you read about the personality trait of men versus personality traits of women, there are differences in general.
That's right. Yeah.
Can I, if I can just jump in there? One of the things that I remember when I sort of did meologies, sort of way back, didn't have any children at the time, and some of the stuff that's just been mentioned there about sort of we develop children, we come from zero, and we as a society give boys this to play with and girls that to play with. But when I had my own child and I looked at this, I mean, she came out as a girl and she wanted to play as a girl. You know, there wasn't anything about, I'm going to put you in a dress and have you behave like this. She came out with her own personality and she played as a girl, and it was nothing to do with indoctrination. I have a bunch of nephews, and those boys, they play like boys, and it was nothing to do with me or their parents. That's how they were from the way they were born. You know?
But then people will say that there are hidden signals, quiet signals, that you reward certain behavior for boys and reward certain behavior for girls. And we do it loads of times. You generate, by the time they're 16, a girl who wants to wear dresses and makeup, and the boys who want to run around and play soccer and
but that's 16. You see, I'm talking from the cradle.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
To walking. See, even if you look at the boys, and I've had this conversation. If you look at the boys and the way boys sit, let's say, the way what boys want to play with. I remember when Zara, because I didn't sort of play with her as a girl, she wanted to sit and play. I've got nephews that they want to, even the way that the boys sit in a different way. The boys play more rigorously because I think we have the muscle mass that we want to express. And so boys take to the fighting and the rolling with the uncle on the floor and the tumbling.
But don't you think that's what people call toxic masculinity now? Rolling on the floor, playing, especially when it gets a bit more boisterous. Yeah, when they're actually fighting over something. And that Gillette advert that came out that tried to say men are not supposed to behave like that anymore.
I didn't see.
We're supposed to train our boys not to want to fight, not to want to roll around.
That's crazy.
But the thing is, I'm not talking about training though. I'm talking about you sitting there and your uncle sitting there and the kids come and attack you. You know, because that's what they want to do. I'm sitting there and I'm looking at my nephews. They've got Lego. And they take the Lego and they build guns with the Lego. They don't have guns in the house. And they build masculine type of equipment.
But then the debate is, the problem is, in the modern society, we want to they're trying to get rid of that behavior, or that desired behavior, that sort of behavior. And even I've known parents who are very, very progressive, and they keep guns away. You can't buy guns as a present, anything to do with that. They can't go to what's that game where you play with the balls, where they fire the pellet balls? I can't remember what it's called now. They can't go to anything like that. Nothing to do with guns, weapons, or fighting. Not laser tag. Not Nerf ball. There's not
laser. No, you're talking about the bigger one.
Paintballing. None of them go paintballing. But then still, as you said, they'll make a gun out of a piece of paper, and say this is a gun and mess around with it, right? Yeah,
but
to the annoyance of the parents.
That's due to video games.
No, but there's no video games.
Not allowed to play video games.
Let's look at the industry of video games. The video industry.
Play video games. They're very progressive. Not allowed to play video games.
But the video industry has got lots of shoot 'em up, kill them, get up off the floor, you lost your life, they come back again, do it again. That's been for years. They've been doing this with video games.
Yeah, but there's none of that in the house.
I mean, you've only got to look at these people going round now, live streaming themselves with a camera, going in, killing real people. One. Then we've just had the one in Buffalo. These people, you don't get these ideas just from sitting in a cafe, having a coffee. You get these ideas from watching all that type of game.
Yeah, but
Neville, what if you find out you got it from a book? What are you going to do then? You read a book I don't know, Steven Hessler's book or something about World War II, and he got the idea from that. What are you going to do there?
What percentage of people do you think nowadays, young people, read books? Apart from the things they're given at school, what percentage do you think read books?
Some guys do read
Never.
books. I read books still. I read books when I was young. I still read books. My kids read books. Yeah,
Yeah, but things are.
they read books.
Those things that time's gone.
I think that time has gone.
It's gone.
It's all computerized now.
We all make the joke. And I'm pretty sure that we've all done it at some stage.
Yeah.
And you talk to these younger children now, these young kids now. We say to them, "When I was young, we didn't have Facebook. You put your face in a book."
Yeah, yeah.
True. It's true.
You got Facebook.
But
We've
I have
all
to-
got
I have
things
to
in our,
push back
we've
a
got
bit.
things in our house that we will still use today that they think, what the hell is that? Imagine if you've got a rotary dial telephone. You give it to a young kid, they have no idea how it operates. But we know it still works. You just got to click the numbers. They can't do it.
Yeah, but the things are regarding masculinity. I mean, Leonard said earlier about not having any type of influence at all. But I'm pretty sure, again, as parents, we've all said when our boy's fallen over and they start crying, so pick it up for the floor. What are you crying for?
Yeah.
I'm sure we've all said it because we actually.
But that has to do with like emotional attachment to the child. It doesn't have to do with whether a child turns out. It doesn't affect the gender. See, you can argue. And
No,
I
it's
can
not affecting
argue.
the gender. What it's affecting is what we believe. So, for example, I've got that list there, and the simple thing I can say to you is that men like things, women like people. That's the difference, first of all.
No, I like people.
Pardon? Of course you
I
like
like
people.
people.
We know that. If we look,
I like you.
generally,
I love you. I love you, Tony.
pardon?
I love you.
And I love you too. But I'm saying, and that's what it is. So we're basically logical people. Women are normally emotional people. That's what they do. Don't get me wrong. I'm sure you get those strong, independent women who
Well, it's a graph. Well, it's a overlapping bell curves, isn't it? That's what it is. Yeah. The tendency is that overall, all men. When you add together all the characters of men over different a million men, they'll be on the logical side of a line, and the women would be more on the intuitive side of a line, for example.
That's right. Yeah.
So it's not that all women are intuitive and all men are logical.
No,
it's not that.
No. But generally speaking,
But generally, yeah.
majority of men
Okay.
are logical
Yeah.
compared to the feminine side for
I
us.
think what,
And
I think what you're saying, I think what you're saying is there's a tendency for
Yeah,
men to
exactly.
be logical or be more pragmatic, seeing the bigger picture.
Yeah, exactly.
And conversely, on the other hand, there's a tendency of women to be more intuitive, more driven by emotions, right? So they cover areas which men are not, which is not first nature in men to cover. And I think in the whole scheme of things, both genders complement each other, and that's what they're supposed to be, I think, through nature, whether you believe through creation.
Yeah, well.
Okay, let me just finish. If you whether you believe through creation or whether you believe through evolution, genders do by and large tend to balance each other out. You asked the question, Tony, about what is masculinity, what's femininity, what makes a man a man, and what makes a woman a woman. I mean, in my humble opinion, it does have its drivings in the physiological, because you've got the testosterone, which versus the estrogen.
Absolutely.
And of course, what gives the man the drive to show more robust, aggressive, protective behavior is the testosterone, right? And of course, the more intuitive, the more affectionate, the more caring side is often driven by the estrogen. And of course, it goes back to the saying, men are from Mars in most cases, and women are from Venus. But they do tend to complement each other. What makes a man is I believe is that will to. It's a stronger driving force, which is based really on the physiological, which affects the psychological and emotional. We respond to things differently to women folk. You know, we
But,
can be driven to rage more. I think it's because on an evolutionary basis, we had to depend on rage to protect not just ourselves, but our
the children.
So there's that.
yeah,
I was looking recently. I was looking recently at the end of that, where you talk about testosterone. But when that starts to decrease in the man, and when it decreases in women, we each behave in a different way. We make a contribution.
Can I come back on that?
Yeah,
Can
sure.
I come back on that? I mean, I agree with you, because it does tend to decrease in men as they get older, but in the menopause, right, for women, when the estrogen levels drops, it unmasks the thin layer of testosterone.
That's right. Yeah.
And you get a different type of behavior. So it is hormonal, which affects the psychology, which affects the physiology, the whole 9 yards.
Yeah,
well,
I think what you're probably saying, Tony, is that to be a woman or to have womanly qualities is to be more intuitive, is to be more responsive to the nuances rather than just seeing the things which are immediately in front of you. But then again, on the converse, on the man's side, you know, men and their masculinity, they have an actual part to play. And this whole thing about indoctrination, what Everton brought up, or was it Lennox? Indoctrination has its part to play, but it's not the be-all and the fulcrum of everything, because this general role that we play was all brought in by business. It was to make money. Boys like blue things, girls like pink things.
Can I jump in there?
It's not laid down in nature that men must have blue things and women must have pink things. It's all to do with business and making money. Clever minds do that.
Yeah, absolutely. I think if you look at the cultural thing, I think the pink and the blue thing is westernized. Whereas if you look at the Asian culture, you don't have those colors. However, if you look at what's happening recently, I was looking at the news this morning about the some of the breakdown in some of the war going on the sort of Russian border, and the people opening up their houses. Some of those placements are breaking down. I was listening to the news this morning, and some of the ladies are saying we've left our men behind. We've brought the kids, we've left our men behind. So even if you look at sort of everybody being fluid, when there's a war situation or a man type situation, all the men have stayed behind. Nobody's like put a dress on and gone, oh, you know.
One guy tried.
They tried.
I didn't hear that.
But can I say something right here? Can I say something?
To fill that traditional role as a protector of the country, and I think they was expected to stay, so they stayed.
No,
some men.
That's not true. That's not true. Sorry. They made a law that you couldn't leave. If you've been 18 and 60, you couldn't leave the country. Simple. Yeah.
Okay.
Why would that be though? Why would that be? Why would that be if we were fluid?
When you take a look at that law, they were made to stay because that's what the man does. Fights. We have a whole history of warfare, supposedly being started by men stay to fight. So, which part of that is a continuation of indoctrination of maleness? The male must stay to fight.
Yeah, but can I say something though, right? That in the Eastern European countries, right, the idea they still have very much traditional male and female roles, right? Yeah, and stereotyping. They're still very much like the courtship and everything like that. Is still that, and the man is expected to be, a man in inverted commas, which we would call a toxic masculinity here. Yeah. So
I would say
when they put the law in, right? But what you might say that, but what they're afraid of, right? They're afraid of that a lot of the Western influence of the last few years has permeated into the Ukraine society, especially the more Western side. Yeah. So the guy to say, we're fighting the war. We can't all run away. Some of us have to stay, and some of us have to be men. The women can volunteer, and women have volunteered to stay and fight with a gun and front line and everything. Yeah. In true East European style. So it's It's a different thing. Yeah,
Women play
and you're
the
right.
part too.
But you're right.
Just
But in the West now, in the West, we have this thing now where we want everybody, every male and female, to be the same. So, for example, we forget that in the womb, when we first start out as an ovum, as a small fetus, we are neither male or female.
that's right.
Yeah?
Mm.
Only when the Y and the X chromosomes start to express themselves and produce the correct hormones do we differentiate and our sex organs develop in a certain way. But at the beginning, we're both the same and we branch off into male and female. Yeah?
But
So at
then
the beginning, we're the same.
it's
So-
not a natural
Right, let me
process.
finish his point. Go on,
I'm
carry
just,
on, everything.
so, I'm just pointing out, right? So we all start off the same and we branch off by hormones. But yet in society, we still want to say that all of the stuff we see, the difference between male and female, are generated by society. And that's the prevailing view. I'm sorry to say, Tony, prevailing view, all that stuff behind you is generated, people think it's generated by society. Okay, I don't believe that. I believe a lot of that, there's some instincts to go with the men produce 1 million sperms and the woman produces 1 egg a month.
Absolutely.
That must drive some behavior. Any evolutionary biologist will tell you that some of that is driving how we behave in the real world. But now we have a situation where we want to flatten all that out, get rid of all that, and say men and female are all the same, that any differences are generated by society. So we shouldn't be. Yeah, and then we go on to this gender fluidity thing. Then after that,
Oh, well,
yeah.
Well, okay. Let's talk about that.
Mm.
I mean, as an example, we talked about Ukraine,
Mm.
and the men were basically conscripted to fight.
Yeah.
And the women with the children went away. But there's also
And trans women had to stay behind. Trans women had to fight.
Yes, they had to stay behind to fight. The trans woman. Okay. That's yes.
They meant.
Yeah, they still have
in a female.
Do you not know about that one?
Yeah.
He's not aware
He's
of
a
it.
trans. I'm aware of it. I had that story. Yeah.
No,
That's
did
the beginning.
you hear about it, Owen? Owen, did you hear about the trans?
I was not aware. I was not aware that the trans people had to stay, but then again, it does make sense to a certain degree.
If it says male in your passport, you have to stay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the thing is, though, going back to masculine and feminine, I mean, we talk about equal rights for everybody now. And we got pronouns, which I refuse to learn them.
You better learn them.
I refuse to learn them.
He, she, they, them.
Don't get me wrong. I accept the fact that they want or they choose to do what they're doing.
They, them. Oh, God.
Pardon?
They, them.
They are choosing to do what they do. I've got to do a blanket thing, so it could be men or women. Okay.
Yeah.
They choose to adopt that. But those transgender people are now coming up with, oh, we're being victimized now because we're trans. They have to accept that in life, no one owes you anything when you're born. Nobody. Okay, no one does.
Yeah,
If you choose to do that, you take along with it the things that come, the bad, the good, and the bad. You can't choose. So
Tony, suppose if the drivings behind the transgender people is so strong that they felt they didn't have the choice, it just had to be. What then? Because if what they're saying is true, which I do believe they are victimized for their choices.
We know that.
You know, I don't believe that.
Are you
I don't believe that at all.
Can I finish? Are you saying that they don't have the right to protest that they are being victimized?
No, I'm not saying that. No, I'm not saying that at all. Listen, we walk around, all 5 of us walk around with the colour of our skin. We can't change that.
Exactly.
We cannot change that at all. Okay? We have to take the L's, we've got to take the insults, we've got to take the shame, we've got to take everything that goes along with it. Okay? And still struggle through. We didn't choose this. They've chosen it.
Okay, that's good. That's one argument. Yeah.
Well, the thing is, though,
But,
with that, if you're going to protest it, do it. I'm not going to shame anyone because because they're trans or gay. No, it's their choice at the end of the day. But they've got to take on board the benefits and
and
the disadvantages that come with it.
I think what
You know,
you
the thing is, when you say talking about choosing, I mean, God forbid that we should end up in the Wormwood Scrubs, sharing a cell with somebody that was trans.
Yeah.
I'm
Why
not
would you
sure
say that?
how that would work.
But you
I
see,
don't know,
Well,
you,
okay.
you might think it's God forbid. They might think, happy birthday, Christmas, New Year, everything. It's all coming now. All you're going to do is drop the soap.
See, the thing is that the strange thing is, so in the event that they caught me
I'm
and
super
I had to
straight.
do I had to do a little 6 months, up in Holloway, because as you know, Holloway is a women's prison. If I made out that, hey, I'm going to do me 6 months, but please give me Holloway. Where does society then sort of fit in? Lennox, fine. If you identify as a woman, we'll stick you in Holloway for.
But it's happened in America. It's happened in
Yeah, it's
America.
happened already.
A black guy, and he hasn't had the operation.
And everyone's
Identified as a
pregnant.
woman,
They're pregnant.
went to the prison and got two girls pregnant?
I think 2 or
Is
3.
that all?
Yeah.
Two women
Only
pregnant.
true.
I think the 2 girls pregnant, yeah.
Do you know what? I hate a bad salesman. I hate a salesman who misses a sales opportunity. He only got 2 women
What way?
pregnant.
Only got 2.
And this is where,
No,
this is where
no,
the confusion
You know,
comes from. Because
hit and miss, right? Yeah, you
I
do
mean,
know
you
hit
have
and miss.
you have imposters, don't you, that say they are this and say that they're that, but they still have
Yeah.
strong male driving.
Yeah,
They'll do the
absolutely.
deed. So,
No, but
and that describes the whole honourable side of being trans.
Yeah,
I have one down my road. In fact, it's not my road, it's the next road down the road. This
but
guy
you see, yeah,
constantly, he wears women's clothes.
but does he wear a mini dress?
He does, yes.
Oh,
Yes.
yeah, we got this. Where you live again? Where do you live?
Well,
Because we got same
Wolverhampton.
around here, right? Yeah. So I know
Wolverhampton.
I'm in London. Same here.
But you know what it
Same
is? I'm not,
What?
I don't know if I think things like the soaps don't help.
Yeah.
They've got people on there that are now part of the production squad who are pushing an agenda.
Of
So you
course
see-
they are. We
You
know
see
that.
more gay people, more lesbians, more gay men, and it's like
But the
I
thing
don't
is, right?
see
Yeah,
that many in my place.
Neville, do you believe that gay men can touch the feminine inside them more than, say, an ordinary man?
Yes, I've seen some of them
Yeah.
walking. They certainly can touch their feminine side.
No.
But what do
Put away
you
the-
mean by what do you
you
mean by
believe that they
feminine
have the-
inside, though? What do you mean by feminine inside?
I think
creativity,
What
collaboration.
I mean is all the qualities that are associated with femininity. Do you believe that
Yeah.
gay men, right, have an ability to successfully touch the feminine side within them, or do you think it's just all a sham?
Well,
No, I think it's part of the gaydar thing, right? Yeah. So for example, if a guy is very eloquent and speaks really well and very descriptive and all those sort of things, right? Colourful, speaks in emotional terms and everything, right? Yeah. I think
and
that's gay.
he's a Madonna
Yeah,
fan.
but let me just stop you there. Let me just stop you there.
Might have a single
What you've just described all of us.
Neville,
No, we haven't. No, we haven't.
Can I just hear
No, we
what you're
haven't.
saying,
No, I
please?
haven't.
No, you
No,
said
I
if a
haven't.
guy speaks
No, I haven't.
eloquently, I think
No.
we all speak eloquently.
No.
Neville,
We speak.
Neville,
we
can I just
speak
hear what
well.
Everton was going to
but-
say?
Go on,
No,
go on.
we
What
speak
we
well.
don't say,
But
Everton.
what we don't do, we don't speak in a very colourful, flamboyant way.
Oh,
Sometimes
no,
describe.
that's different.
So if you listen to Barrymore, not Barrymore, the
Barrymore.
guy who was in there's a few that
Doctor-
Barryman,
Doctor
John
Who.
Doctor Who guy.
No,
Barrymore.
John Barrowman.
Barrymore.
Yeah. Listen
John
how he
Barrowman.
speaks, right? Yeah, that's the one. Listen how he speaks. He speaks in a certain
Yeah.
way, and he emotes and all the rest of it, right? Yeah, right. If I was a betting man and I didn't know anything about him,
Yeah.
I'll be betting
Yeah.
he would be a homosexual of some sort. Yeah, I was up about my bet would
he is.
be. Yeah,
But
I don't know,
okay.
but he's like a template. If you look around and you see that, right? That's how white people are. Some people speak so well, so you just lean in to
No,
listen to them
you know
speak.
what?
They speak so well. You say, "Oh, okay, I know now.
I
I really
don't
know."
think.
It's part
I
of
don't think.
gaydar. When two gay people see each other and they know they're both gay, some of that comes across in their behavior. Yeah, I don't mean mincing behavior or any of those stereotypical behaviors. I mean, a guy, you'd think this guy was a man's man, right? Yeah, but somehow it turned out to be gay. Oh, that's funny.
But no, but
Yeah, you can guess it.
The Welsh rugby player's got AIDS now.
Yeah.
I mean, he looked masculine as sin.
Yeah.
He came out as gay.
So, but then there must have been, if you was in his circle, you were looking out, you'd say, "Oh, okay, it's got some of this going on."
There'll be six signals.
Yeah. You know, you
Let's
know.
be honest.
Yeah.
I think there's a difference. I think there's a difference between homosexuality and being unclear as to your gender, because I think it's a different argument. I firmly believe that there are guys and women who, because of lifestyle, have chosen a certain path in life, and to my mind, it is a choice that individuals make.
I don't know,
and I think there are people out there that are confused for whatever reason.
I'll tell you what. I don't think it's a choice, right? Yeah.
Called being bi-curious, is it?
I'm gonna tell you.
One time, guys.
Bi-curious.
Everyone talking.
I'll tell you why it's
Is
not
that what
a choice, right? Yeah.
Is it called
Yeah, go on. I'm listening. Go on.
Yeah, I'll tell you
Is
why
it
it's not
called
a choice.
bi-curious?
Bi-curious. Okay,
Yeah.
it's one of the things, right? Yeah. But I'll tell you why it's not
Is
a
it not
choice.
being bi-curious? I think that's choice, isn't it?
No, I don't think. Let me tell you, there may be an element of that for some people, but I don't think being homosexual is a choice, especially for men. In the 60s, it was illegal. You realize that? Yeah.
That's
So
right.
we had a very famous.
Quentin Crisp.
Yeah, or Alan Turing.
Yeah.
So a very famous person who was a World War II hero and computing genius, all the rest of it. Yeah. In the end, because of his behavior, he was doing illegal cottaging behavior, whatever you want to call it, with other men.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he was caught doing obscenity. He was given chemical castration or chemicals or drugs to keep down his desire, and in the end, he committed suicide. Yeah.
I tell you why I think it's
a choice.
No, I tell you why I think it is. You see, it's to my mind, and I can only talk from my personal experience. I think there are very few people that are born that way, and I think some people are. But I think the vast majority of people who are on the march, who go on the march, it is a choice that they make. It's a behavior. It's a learned behavior. I think if you're, sort of 13, 14, 15, 16 or whatever age, and you get into a way of behaving, coming out of that. I mean, who's that Philip? What's his name on TV?
Schofield.
Okay, well, you marry,
but maybe he was gay from all time.
Sleeping in a. Well, that's my point. My point is that you mask your life, your choices, to hide behind society, to say like, this is who I am. But
okay, that's true.
How do you sleep with your wife? How do you marry with your wife and engage in a relationship?
Let me tell you, right? Yeah, we're talking about masculinity and femininity. Oh,
Isn't there a bisexual element in that?
Yeah. So we're talking about. We say we don't believe in fluidity, right? Yeah, I don't believe it. I don't mean you can switch from male to female back every day or something. But for certain, we all have, because we start at the beginning as neither male or female, and we differentiate into male and female. We all have a female and male capacity within us. Yeah.
Well, no. Well, I disagree with that. I don't believe we start
Let me finish. So I think that when we're growing up, we have a lot of people, maybe especially some men, maybe more female, that fancy sexually other men of the same sex, but only slightly. Right. Let me finish. But because of societal pressure, we have to conform to our gender stereotype, of men in the society. So we repress that desire. Yeah.
So okay. So
Some
tell me,
people-
when did you start?
Let me
Let me finish then.
Let me
When
finish,
did you
let me
start?
finish,
When did
let
you
me
start
finish,
repressing?
let me
When did
finish,
you start repressing
finish.
your
Let me
feminine?
finish.
Okay.
Let me finish. Let me finish. Right. So there's like a needle, and we're slightly feminine. We're not feminine, but we fancy people of the same sex. Yeah. Maybe very masculine, play rugby, climb mountains. Yeah. Go out drinking at night. All the rest of it. Right. Yeah. Wolf whistle women. Yeah. But we're just slightly on that side of feminine, right? With the needle stuff just there, yeah. And because of society, that's repressed, yeah. And we submerge that feeling, yeah. Some people all the way over to here. So in some countries, in Iran, for example, let me tell you this: in Iran, where it's a death sentence to be gay. If you're found out to be gay, it's a death sentence, yeah.
Yeah, but
So
my
you
point
have
is,
two
no, but
choices.
you're mixing arguments up.
Let me finish.
You're mixing
You have two
two
choices.
arguments up. You see, by the
No,
time
I'm
you're
not.
aware, by the time you're aware of
No,
the
I'm
law,
not.
that
No, I'm
sort of,
not.
you know, puts the guillotine around your neck, you're sort of quite old. See, if I look at
Okay, you
myself,
think
I
that,
can
okay.
use myself. You see, I can see
Yeah.
I can see you've got a wedding ring on, and I would ask the question: if you think that there's a line between of crossing over, I've got to.
Not
I'll have
crossing
to ask
over.
you.
There's certain
I've
amounts
got-
of there's a masculine part and a feminine part, and you
I
mix those together,
I
and I go masculine.
I've always liked
feminine,
girls.
yeah?
I've always liked girls from when I can remember. Let's say it's like 7, 6. I've always liked the female
Yeah, same,
form,
yeah.
and I still
Same,
do today.
same.
But I've never
Yeah.
had the crossover where I've thought,
No,
I wonder
why?
whether I
No,
could.
why?
You know,
No,
it's
no,
whether
why?
it's Janet, whether it's Janet
No,
or
but
John.
that's no,
I've always liked Janet.
yeah, but
But don't tell her.
That's us. I've never had that same thing, right? I've always liked women, right? Yeah, but you've had a bromance, right? Yeah, where it's to me
Well, that's
it's
not
not
sexual.
bromance stuff, right? Yeah, well,
But that's not
you know,
sexual.
right? Yeah. Oh, you know, a bromance type thing is where, if it was to be that same friendship between a man and a woman, right? Yeah, where they're very close, hugging and touching, right? Yeah, the same thing between a man and a woman. That
No.
wind up in bed.
You mean the love that dare
right,
not speak its name?
No, but
No, that's bromance. No,
No,
I can have a
romance does not end
relationship
up
with
in
you
bed.
as a friend,
If
and I can
your
hug you,
bromance,
and I can, but that's a
if
male.
your
That's,
bromance,
so you're mixing
him carry on.
emotional. You're mixing
Oh, well.
emotion with sexuality. The two are
if your
separate.
bromance
Yeah.
ends up in bed, it's always been a gay relationship. It's not. Look, I've got male friends who I care about, but we're never going to sleep in the same bed ever.
Yeah.
We
I
might
know,
do.
yeah.
We might do if we go somewhere and there's only one place to sleep.
Yeah.
There's not for sexual. There's
Yeah, I know,
no
yeah.
hanky panky going on. So
Yeah.
I think this thing with I personally think it's a lifestyle choice. You don't have to do it. It's just like working somewhere. You don't have to work somewhere. You might hate it, but you do it because
No, I can't agree.
You
I can't agree.
You don't
I can't
have to
agree
work
with
anywhere.
There's so
But
many
you choose
examples around the world where being gay is such a dangerous thing. Such
Yeah,
a
but that's
dangerous
later in
thing.
life.
You
That's
choose
later
not
in
to.
life.
Yeah?
See, if you look at when I can go from sort of 13, 14, when things start to happen sexually for
Yeah.
boys and women
Girls,
women too.
yeah.
It's not you don't know anything about the law. You know,
Yeah.
you can as your teammates, even if look out guys connect with guys with women. The sexes do not really play together. I mean, sort of I most of the schools I went to are mostly mixed schools, but
Yeah.
I mean, in Warsaw there were some guys that went to all boys schools, some girls went to all boys schools, and so you know, we may not know how each other function, but and we don't know about the law that says, oh, if you do that, then this are the consequences. I personally believe that at that age, guys connect with women. The sexes do not. Really but that's friendship. That's a friendship level.
Who's talking?
That's not a
the
sexual.
voice is very low.
Yeah.
I
Who's
think
that talking just then?
I think if you get into a behavior, any type of behavior, at a stage, you know, you develop habits. How long do they say it takes for a habit to unlearn a habit?
Yeah, a long time.
Yeah, now there is a definition for it.
Yeah.
They do
Okay.
say, X amount of time. So if you see, the thing is, if I've thought about this, and if I look I walk along, sort of New Hampton Road, Dudley Road, or wherever, and I look, and I can appreciate the female form. I'm not talking about being salacious, because people are married or whatever. And I can look and I go, I like that about you. I like that about you. And I can appreciate the female form. I'm not looking and saying, I want to put my hand on you, but I can look and appreciate. But if I do the same thing, I can also appreciate a guy, the way that he's dressed.
Okay, yeah.
I love a guy with a nice shirt on and tie on.
Yeah.
But with a female, it's a form that I feel something about. It could be her calves, her ankle, the way she's walking, and it's a female form that there's. Hold on, let me just grab a tissue. It's a female form. It's a female form.
Lennox, on that point of the form, right? What then if you're a man and you can appreciate the masculine form, but your like is aspirational?
Exactly.
Where you're saying, well, I wish I had that thing about me. What does that make you then?
Well, see, that's the thing, you see. See, when I look at guys, I've got friends that are, 6'4", and I go, oh, I wish I was, but growing up, but you've come to terms with being 5'0", and you're happy in your body. You're happy.
The reason why I'm saying that is because the reason why I'm saying that is because I think to a certain degree, with all the greatest respect, your argument is possibly inadvertently becoming one-dimensional, where we're seeing maleness and male appreciation as one-dimensional. I think it's multidimensional, where you can still keep your maleness but show admiration, aspirational attraction to the male form.
That's it. That's the word.
Like
admiration. Admiration.
Like bodybuilding.
Bodybuilders,
I agree, but that's not sexual. That's admiration. It's not sexual.
Yeah.
It's two
but the thing is,
separate things.
But when you say the woman,
what's not coming out in the argument is that aspect that you've just highlighted there.
But there's a sexual element in looking at
there is
the female
Lennox.
form.
There is, Lennox. Oh, okay.
Well, no, of course there is. See, admiration is one thing. Appreciation is something else. I'm not saying I look with desire, because I don't. But I look and I can appreciate, and I do like what I see. But I can't say.
But what if you desire to be like that? What if your aspirational desire, which is quite a general term, desire is to be like that? That's why you're attracted to it.
No, but I don't desire to be like the female form. I can appreciate the female form without desiring to be like. I'm not desiring to be like. I'm looking. I'm appreciating.
What about the male question? What about the male question?
Well, no, the male question is, but I see, I'm happy in my own body. I can look and say, I want to look like Tony. But do I, I can appreciate Tony and I like him. But do I want to be like him? I can't be bothered going to the gym. I'm happy as I am.
See, but Lennox, you see, I mean, the rest of you go. Because we're not homosexuals, right? Yeah, we can't imagine what it's like to be inside that person's mind. But just as the way you look at women and appreciate them, and with a slight element of sexual desire in there, that's the whole point. Yeah, that part of that appreciation is the appreciation of sexual desire of their childbearing hips or something. Yeah, some people, for whatever reason, for me, I don't think it's a choice. I think that's how something in their brain development or something. When they realize psyche, when they realize they like something, that same thing you see in women with a slight bit of sexual desire, the same thing they see when they look at a man looking at a man or a woman looking at a woman. They're the same thing. It's misdirected. It's like when we have the ducks. When we have ducks, when the duck hatches, the first thing it sees, it attaches to.
Attachment theory. Yeah. But I think there's more than that.
But I don't know.
No, it's
whether
more
that's
than
the
that.
same thing at the beginning.
No.
What I wanted to say was this. I think it's all a learned response.
It's all learned response. Male, female stereotypes. It's all learned response.
I think it's a learned response, and I'll tell you why. Let's say you're watching something on television, right? And the person that's the actor or the actress is quite ugly, not attractive at all.
Yeah.
But over time, the more and more you start seeing that person, they in your brain become normalized. They're no longer that ugly person. They're acceptable now. And this is what's happening. I think.
I don't disagree with you there, Neville. You see, if you look at society, if you look at
anybody ever
one at a time, guys.
If you look at society and if you look at the decline of all societies and all cultures, it appears that you can go from Greece, Babylon, sort of, straight through.
Rome.
It appears that all cultures, the moment that you get the development, and the moment that the homosexuality argument takes over, you get that decline. You get that decline in that society. So I want to sort of bring the biblical, the Christianity thing into the argument very briefly. We started the conversation looking at the creation, male and female. And if you then look at sort of one of the books in the Bible, Leviticus, God condemns that lifestyle, that practice. Now, my thing is, and I believe that God is a fair person. See, if God made me and I was born to like boys, but God says, I'm going to destroy you if you do that, then my contention is God is unfair. Because if he's made me the way that he has, and he's saying, because I mean, I look at women, as I say, on the street, and I like them. And for me to change that inside of me, it's because it's me, it's who I am. And so for me to change that nature, Jamaicans have a name for it, but I can't remember what it is. For me to change that sort of basic thing of who I am, I would say God would be immensely unfair to make me the way that he has, and then say, like, I'm going to destroy you because of who I've made you. And so therefore, when I look at that, I'm saying, well, what is it that the Bible is talking about? So if the Bible is condemning somebody out of hand, then there has to be more to this homosexual argument. And it can't be about creation. It can't be about.
That's why, of course, you've just expressed in certain terms why the Bible is put to the back now. It's sort of pushed to the side. Yeah, right. So where you describe that Leviticus is why the Bible in the Old Testament is pushed to the side now. Yeah. Now, still in the Bible, it does, even the Old Testament in Job, it does talk about someone being afflicted, and you have to, still stand in the way of the law of the book. Yeah, even when you're afflicted with certain things that are coming towards you, like Job had that problem. The devil said, I can make that man curse your name. And then, so he was severely challenged by all sorts of circumstances, his death in his family, becoming poor, all sorts of things would challenge him. And but he didn't once curse God. Yeah. Okay. So just so you say, you're trying to say that it must be a choice. I'm still saying that we are born, and we're born with certain drives especially if you talk about men. There's certain drives in men, which we see in war, for example, rape in war. When there's no law, there's no comeback. You can do anything you want. So many rapes happening in wartime because of that. Yeah.
No, so that's a different thing.
No, because inside men, there's certain things which have to be restrained.
I was buying into your argument
socially trained to hold back.
No, rape is something completely different. I mean, even if you look at the biology of rape, You see, the violence and sexual activity. You've got the once you stimulate an anger part of you, you've got that sort of flight thing that goes on. And so if you and I were to get into like a confrontation, the last thing that happens, because of the adrenaline, the sex parts of us disappear. And so to sort of to argue that rape is part of manhood, no, it's not.
No, he didn't say that.
No,
I didn't say that.
No.
I didn't say that. What I'm saying is, right, yeah, that just instinctively at the below our intellect, the maleness, right, has a lot of violence and a lot of stuff tied up in there, right, yeah. But because of our conditioning within society, and we've been socialized, that is held at bay, right, yeah. And women will often tell you, right, yeah, they'll tell you, right, yeah, that when there are this thing about violence against women, especially by men, yeah, for them it's a very real thing, because I can't remember who said it now. Between when men are discussing, say, two men on the street corner talking, or arguing about something, right, yeah, violence is never far away, yeah. It depends on how well they can communicate to how far violence.
I hear your argument, but the two separate arguments. Are you saying that all men in war rape? And the answer is no.
No.
Hang on a second, guys. There's one thing you need to realise. From when they used to have the Roman campaigns, Saxon campaigns, what did they have behind the campaign? Following them. A brothel. And there's a reason why there was a brothel there.
Yeah.
To get rid of the frustration of the men in the army.
Two separate things, though. That's two separate things.
It's not.
I don't think they are. No, because Lennox, you argued, right, yeah, that God wouldn't put something on you, then punish you for it, right, yeah. I'm just saying, in the Bible, we have free will, free reign to anything, right, yeah. But within man, even the Bible tells us this, right, yeah, that within that, we have without our 10 commandments, all the various socialization, if we burst out, we can burst out into extreme violence, extreme behaviors which are evil, right, yeah, right. Remove
morality, then, in other words.
Yeah, remove morality without our socialization.
Sure, but even when you remove morality from there, you still have the concept of family. So even if you move the Bible and those laws out of the way, you still have morality. You still have sisters. You still have mothers.
No.
What's incest? What is incest?
Look what's happening in Ukraine now. Women are being raped in Ukraine now by the Russian soldiers. It's a fact.
Yeah, but that's not a male response to. That's not a male response to. That's not a male response to war, Tony. I mean, when you hear of rape taking place, those are individuals making that choice. It's not a male thing. It's not a male thing to rape.
No, I'm not saying that.
Listen, honestly, when rape, especially rape of a man, is about power.
Yeah.
Women too.
Okay, yeah.
That's what they're saying. They're trying to say, doesn't make a difference who you think you are. I have ultimately got power over you. That's what it's all about.
Yeah, exactly. And I think it's the same thing for women too. I mean, sort of, it's for, to express yourself to some woman wherever you go, if in a war setting, whatever age, you're forcing yourself onto somebody. That's not.
Lennox, you can't imagine about the Iraq War and Syrian War, where a lot of rape took place to the extent that UN had to make a special thing about it, right? Yeah,
it happened in the Vietnam
raping war. No, recent wars in.
But I'm saying it happened in the Vietnam War as well.
Oh yeah, okay, yeah. Happened in the Vietnam War, but I'm just pointing out to you.
These are American, civilized American men, married.
Yeah, but we're only maybe 2 weeks. All of us
as a weapon of power and punishment. That's the reason why.
Yeah,
it's always happening. It always happens in conflict because it's used as a weapon of power and punishment and subjugation. It is the ultimate.
Because in war,
I can violate you against your will, and that's what it is. War, to a certain degree, too.
After they've done that, they'll probably shoot you in the head.
War is also, to a certain degree, technically, an act of rape again,
Yeah.
because it's
Yeah,
forcing
yeah.
someone entry into your country against their will. It's an act of violation. That's what it is.
Okay. But men in themselves, I don't believe that as men, because we were looking at what makes a man, and the man per se isn't a being that wants to dominate somebody.
What you're
Well,
saying is,
I think men are.
Yeah,
I think men are.
yeah,
not-
Lennox.
are you saying that rape is not a natural propensity of men? Is that what we're saying?
No,
Absolutely. You're
no,
saying
no,
that's
no,
what
no.
I'm saying.
No, it's not a natural thing. Some people have urges. Yeah, we know that. Some people have urges to do that. Some people do it out of desperation.
Tony, is it urges by degree then? Is that what you're saying?
Well,
No, see, well,
Is it urges by degree?
To some extent, because if you
No.
look at prostitution, you mentioned that earlier on with the caravan coming behind the guys. You see, I mean, if you look at
it's
prostitution,
rape.
that is an exchange.
It's a business. That's a business
I suppose there's a power
transaction
dynamic there.
No,
There's
there
a power-
isn't. No, there isn't. If you
There
look,
isn't what?
if you look at modern women now, who are sex workers, they actually look at it as they've got power over the men. Men are there throwing money at these women. But they are for something they can get at home.
Mm.
Why?
The currency is the power.
Well,
Is that what
okay,
you're saying?
No,
it's a fit. It's okay. Then men will have sex with those people because they can't get anyone else, or two, whatever they're having at home is
Or
not
not.
satisfactory for them.
or not. I think
That may not be,
or not.
or it could be that they've got a deviant in them and they need to satisfy it somewhere else because they're too embarrassed to do it with their partner.
Yeah.
Agreed?
okay. Yeah. But
Just
Tony,
yeah.
Tony, but
Oh,
listen,
yeah,
listen a second.
You go on, go on, Everton.
Oh, I was just going to say, right, as part of this anti-maleness we have, an anti-masculinity having there, right, especially in the West, prostitution can be turned around. Just for example, so in the Scandinavian countries, right, the men are the ones who are the criminals, and the women are not the criminals.
Mm.
So if they're caught, it's the man who gets charged, not the woman.
Mm.
But don't you think that how can I put it? That is yet another assault on the maleness somehow, because men have a propensity to buy sex, women have a propensity to sell sex, and not vice versa. So when that goes back thousands of years, is that a social construct, or is that men have an instinctive, biological, evolutionary?
Very interesting argument.
To do
very
that,
interesting argument. I've spoken with the girls sort of down by me. We've got where I live, we've got down for years, we've had an issue with the sort of pharmaceuticals going around, and when you speak to the girls, it seems for some reason the girls are, I don't know whether they're persuaded, I don't know, but girls end up selling themselves to gain the pharmaceuticals, but the guys don't. So the guys end up sort of going uptown and stealing or housebreaking or whatever, but the girls end up selling themselves to, to why that happens, I don't know. I don't know what the issue.
So the propensity, because within, even if we talk biblically, within man and women, but within man, there's the devil whispering to get something for nothing easily, right? Right. And no matter how much a man pays for sex, it is almost a something for nothing, because sex is a thing which is in on a short supply and all the rest of it. You have to be married, certain responsibilities. If you can get sex without buying into any of that, it's almost like it's something for nothing. The devil always wants us to get something for nothing.
No, sorry. I mean,
right?
the point that I was making.
So men, but women don't have that problem. Women don't have that problem to say, I'm gonna pay a man to have sex. No, very small percentage of women will that ever occur to. Most men, that is a possibility. Either to flash the cash and have the women fall over them like the footballers do, or whatever the thing is, right? Yeah.
No, sorry, you missed the point. You're missing the point I'm making. The point I'm making is that you've got two people who have gone down the road of sort of getting into the pharmaceutical thing. But one person will choose their bodies or not. Yeah, one person will choose to sell her body, whereas a female, but the guy doesn't.
I know.
But you know what that is?
Because no one buying the guy's sex.
Let's say if you join a dating agency, regardless of what you look like, you're going to get loads of messages from men.
Yeah, exactly.
Always be attracted to women. There's a possibility that you might end up having sex. As a male, you're going to have a harder time. You might have to put a fake picture on your account. You might actually put I'm actually identifying as a 37-year-old white 7 male, and all of a sudden, the women that would never be anywhere near your acceptability range will start to think, "Oh, he's really nice. He likes me." No, he doesn't. But for the men, it's a lot harder than a woman who doesn't look. She has got no special looks, but she's got a vagina. And men.
Do you remember? I said that a couple of weeks ago. If you had a woman, okay, the two things. I don't know if you'll subscribe to this. Women give men access to sex.
Yeah.
Men give women access to relationships and marriage.
Yeah.
That's a fact.
Yeah.
It's a fact.
Yeah. No, fact. That's a fact, but it's definitely an opinion and a strong idea. Definitely. Yeah.
For women to be able to get sex is easy. You get the fattest woman in the night to get sex like that.
But can I just say, Tony? Can I just say?
You go on.
Not for fucking
fattest women, the nicest women.
Not for what?
What?
Not for fucking me, she is.
We'd be talking seriously and anecdotally. I'm just saying.
Language.
Language.
Oh, my Lord.
No more swearing, please. Okay.
No more swearing. Yeah.
Okay. Well, moving on from the topic. I want to close down soon. Yeah. I want to talk about.
It's half past 10.
What happens when a masculine man meets a masculine woman?
Can I make a video?
Some men are attracted to the masculine woman.
Side of women.
No. I'm talking about a masculine man.
You can't dictate what goes on in the mind. The mind will travel where it is because it has a natural. I think Everton used an example of the pendulum, the compass. Wherever the compass is where it is, and that's within the head. If you think about it, no matter how big we are and muscular we are, where we really are and what we really are is between our ears.
Exactly.
That's what I'm talking about.
Have you got that video? Have you got that video, Tony?
So wherever the pendulum is, that's where it is.
Have you got that video, Tony?
What video is that?
Masculine man meets masculine female.
No.
You know something? I think
you went straight to DVD.
Straight to DVD. I think the issue with it is, I don't think you can have two people that are the same in the same relationship, because a relationship's all about give and take. So one of them's going to have to step back to let the other one be
yin and yang.
The leader.
That's what I'm saying. Is it possible for a masculine woman?
It's possible.
She can be self-sufficient. She's got her own business, her own money.
Is that masculine?
Yeah.
Hang on. Well, I'm talking about standard roles now, general roles. Okay, gender roles.
But Tony, if you're secure, right? If you're secure in your maleness, right? I believe that you can still find that attractive because you're secure in your maleness. If you find it a threat, then you're not. Your pendulum is not going to swing that way.
Well, no. Okay, I'm not talking about a threat. I'm not talking about a threat now.
Oh, but that's a factor. But that's a factor.
Absolutely, yes. As men, right? We have a standard that we have to be at with our peers, our family, and our friends. Agreed?
Okay.
Okay.
Agree.
If we have a disagreement between me and you, the only way it will get to a conflict is if we don't like each other. But generally speaking, when we have a conflict, we know that if we get past a certain level, we're in trouble. We're both in trouble. One of us is going to be.
Oh yeah.
Okay. When you have a masculine woman, that goes out the window because they believe they can do whatever they want. Then they can argue with you. They can hit you. We've seen the videos of the bouncer in Birmingham. Spat at because she had the masculinity of a man. She expected to be like a feminine woman, but the accountability of a child.
Right.
Because she thought, you know what, nothing's going to happen to me at all.
But it did.
But it
did.
did.
It did. Yeah.
No one hit her. No one did it. No one struck her
Quite
back.
right.
No one hit her back because her femininity protected her. Her femininity, she thought, you know something, because he's a man, he knows he can't hit a woman.
That's a gamble she took.
It's a gamble she took.
It's a gamble she took.
The intellect.
But the reality is this: in the right situation, in the right scenario, where she's equaled up to a man and punched a man first, and a man hits her back, that's her problem.
But you're saying the right situation.
Generally I'm saying the right situation is don't believe that because everybody's telling you out there that men and women are absolutely equal. We know it's not true.
It's not true, no.
Only got to look at tennis, for example. Let me give you tennis as an example. A game of women's tennis can be over 3 games, 3 sets. A man's tennis game, 5 sets.
5 sets.
The difference is could be hours, or so many more hours. And then it's not just one game of 5 sets. It's every single match is 5 sets. Women only have every single set of 3 sets.
So what are you saying?
Not the same.
They want the money.
Everybody wants to say they're all
equal pay.
Listen,
equal pay.
Women are fighting on football now. They want equal pay.
Why?
When you start getting the numbers that the men's game brings in, you can have equal pay. Until you do that, you can't get equal pay. I don't understand where they don't see the difference. You're not bringing the numbers to the game.
What you're saying, Neville, and where's the connection between what Tony's saying? Where's the connection there? Where is it?
Well, the connection is, although ultimately women and males may well believe that I'm masculine, although I'm a feminine, so I'm actually the leader. And a male say, well, I'm a masculine, I'm the leader. Ultimately, technically, it's going to be the bloke. However, he's probably going to step back and let the woman just do what she wants, just because for harmony, the women who believe that they really are on top, they're not. Honestly, 100%, they're not on top. They're not. They are. They can go and do whatever they like. They're not going to be stopped. But for them to keep thinking that they're equal, they're not, because hey, we can't have babies. They can. So all of a sudden, all the genetics now start to come into play. Women can have babies. Men can help you have a baby, but they can't physically have the baby themselves. So you need the two to make a cohesive circle.
Absolutely.
The family.
Without those 2 parts together, you've not got anything.
Yeah.
It's neither one nor the other. It's both.
We need each other.
Has anybody ever heard about the
guys? I've got to go. It's 10:30. I've still got a whole bunch to do. Yeah, so you're gonna have to forgive me. I'm gonna have to. We have to finish at 10, but it's 10 now.
Okay.
Tony, if I could just say, you know something, male, female, whatever, right? We both need each other.
We need each other.
You know, in the wide scheme of things, they are the yin to our yang, we're the yang to their yin.
Absolutely.
And that's how it's deemed, you know? That's how it is.
Yeah, but the thing is that we all need to know what our limitations are and what our advantages are.
That's it.
Yes.
If you don't know those, we're lost.
That's it.
And appreciate it too. And appreciate the differences too.
Absolutely.
I don't know if anybody saw it, but I watched
that's the main part. Appreciate the differences and celebrate it.
Did anybody see the video about Joanne Dehaney?
Yeah.
The girl that went out with that jagged knife, stabbed up 2 men who were just walking in a pit, took some bloke in the car and says, come on, you're going to go and do it. Even when she went into the police station and she's been hacked for murder, she's there saying, oh, it could be worse. And you're trying to shut up the cop who's arrested her. She said, "What do you mean it could be worse?" He said, "Well, I could be fat and black."
You are.
You don't know about this.
She said she's got. She,
No.
He said to the copper,
And on that note,
he's standing a little bit away
On
from
that
you.
note, yeah, guys, gotta go.
Well, see you later. She said it could be worse, couldn't it? He says, "What do you mean?" She says,
Yeah,
"I
see
could
you
be
right.
fat and black."
Neville, Neville,
Yeah, guys,
your
yeah,
logic.
Owen?
Okay, my friend. Neville,
Okay.
your logic is legendary,
well, guys.
Neville.
Yeah.
I am
Yeah.
so pleased to say that you are our Neville, mate. You know,
Okay,
you're a corker, mate.
before we close off, what I'd like to do is that next week I would like to nominate Lennox.
Next week's a holiday, mate. Next week's holiday, isn't it? No, sorry, no, it's
It's
week after
holiday.
next. Okay.
Oh, we
No,
can't-
no. Week after next is Whitsun. We have a break then. Carry on.
Yeah, okay.
Sorry, mate.
I'd like to nominate Lennox because Lennox wants to talk a lot, but seem to get a chance. We always cut him off to host the next week's meeting. So Lennox,
Okay.
if you could come up with an idea on Monday, Tuesday, drop it across on WhatsApp, and then we'll crack on Thursday.
Okay.
guys,
What time are we starting next week?
If we can make sure we start for 8:30 next week, that'd be great.
8:30. Okay, great.
Janet should be
Okay,
on,
everybody.
so it will not be man talk.
All right.
Okay.
8:30.
So we have to put our misogynistic, sexual, deviant ways behind
All right.
away.
No like, no
Danny
like.
comes in, be
No-
nice
no
and
like,
courteous. Okay.
No like.
We'll ask her about the kitchen,
All
make
right.
sure everything's okay
Yeah.
there,
We'll be done now.
and then work out what we're going to buy as a present.
All right.
Okay.
Well,
Thank
See you
guys,
guys next week.
Okay.
Everybody
Thank you
have a great
very
week, yeah?
And I'll see you guys next week. Take it easy.
Okay. Yeah,
See
catch
you
you next
later.
week.
Okay.
Take care.
Cheers, mate.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
God bless. Good night, yeah.
Good
All right,
night.
take care. Bye,
Good night.
everybody.
Bye.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
Right.